In terms of online classes, we talk sometimes about the virtual classroom because even though will not physically meet during these 6 weeks in the same brick and mortar building, um, we do function like students and a professor in a classroom because there's discussion that goes on, there's back and forth that goes on. The unique thing about the online environment is that it has that discussion aspect built into it. It is not simply like a correspondence course where you do reading, do assignments, send them to the professor grades them, sends feedback to you individually, and that's what constitutes the course. No, we're a class. We talk to each other, you find out things about each other, you respond to what each other have written. So, Nazarene Bible College tries to take advantage of that with its online classes by requiring you actually to post at least one substantive response post per day on 5 different days of the week. Now, the reason that they want you doing it on 5 different days of the week is that they don't want you trying to cram everything on the course into one day, kind of doing like an all-nighter, like sometimes students do in regular face-to-face classes. The idea is to keep this class on your front burner, and by having you respond during the week, this also allows conversations to develop. So you're not just simply responding to something and then that's it. No, you can respond to something, someone else will respond to your response, someone else responds back. So there's that little bit of a back and forth. Now, a substantive response post is something more than just good job, I agree with you. It is a response post that carries the conversation forward. Sometimes it will respond to something a person has said and then finish with a question. So the conversation is carried forward. You don't have to ask a question in your response post, but it certainly helps carry the conversation forward. I encourage you to respond to other people with your textbook open, in the sense that when someone writes something and you want to respond to it, then perhaps you quote a phrase or a sentence out of the textbook in your response, whether you're agreeing with them or maybe you have a slight disagreement and so you're quoting something. I hope you'll take advantage of this conversation thing. Yes, it's a requirement. At least one response post per day for at least 5 different days of the week. And that means that you might ought to get started early. I suggest the students even start with their response posts as early as Monday. You can go ahead and write things in the kind of the general discussion area. Those will be counted as response posts, even though they're not in response to another student. I've added some material in there that you can, some links you can respond to that material, and those will be counted as response posts. If you start that early, rather than waiting until Wednesday, and then you got to do it every day all the way to Sunday, if you do it early, then if something comes up, the week gets busy, you can take a day off and still get your 5 separate days in. Well, I'm looking forward to some great conversations developing during these next 6 weeks.